one thing in common. Any guesses? Louis Pasteur experienced it. The Hollywood movie Just My Luck depicted it, and finally, Snooki perfected it! No, they are inventions, which in addition to hard work, were influenced by a chance circumstance. Was it just dumb luck, or was there a pattern behind them? According to a 10-year-long study conducted by British psychologist Richard Wiseman, about 88% people wish they were lucky, and about 9% of them consider themselves to be perpetually unlucky. Today, we'll graze shallow to search for what makes people unlucky. Then, understand what made geniuses such as Albert Einstein lucky. And finally, try our luck to identify our own personal lucky charms. Did you notice how it used the phrase graze shallow and not dig deep? More on that later. So first, let's explore 3 reasons that make people feel they are unlucky. Reason 1. Self-proclaimed unlucky people miss the big picture. In an experiment described in the book Luck Factor by Professor Wiseman, 400 people drawn from all walks of life who considered themselves either exceptionally lucky or unlucky were asked to count the number of photographs in a newspaper. On average, the unlucky people took about 2 minutes to complete this exercise, whereas the lucky people took only a few seconds. Why, you may ask? Because on the second page of the newspaper, there's a half-page message written in large font that said, "Stop counting! There are 43 photographs in this newspaper." Most lucky people noticed the message, whereas the unlucky ones didn't. Even worse, majority of the unlucky group missed another such message placed a few pages later. Lesson learned. Opportunities are all around, but only for those who are willing to look and be vigilant. Reason 2. Unlucky people look too hard and too narrowly. Looking too hard and too narrowly will make you miss the unexpected but obvious opportunities, be it for a job, business, or relationship. Looking too hard and too narrowly will make you much more tense and anxious, which, according to research, disrupts people's ability to notice the unexpected. Under the same extended experiment, people's ability to notice large dots on the corners of their computer screens dramatically reduced when a monetary reward was announced to complete the task they were working on. Lesson learned. It may sound counterintuitive, but stop looking too hard. Reason 3. Unlucky people tend to be negative. In Professor Wiseman's experiment, people were asked how they would feel if they got shot in the arm in the midst of a bank robbery. The unlucky people said they would be unlucky to be in that situation, whereas the lucky people had a much different response. Most said they would be blessed that the bullet missed their head. One said he could sell his story to a newspaper and make some money. Sounds like my brother. Psychologists have shown that Olympic bronze medalists tend to be happier than silver medalists, because while the silver medalists harp on their lost opportunity, the bronze medalists are happy that they at least won a bronze. Now let's focus on 2 factors that make people feel they are unlucky. Number 1, conscientiousness. Conscientiousness is defined as a state of being careful, thorough, or vigilant. It is one trait the unlucky people lack and lucky people tend to have in abundance. Remember the group of unlucky people who missed the obvious newspaper announcement, not just once, but twice? Scholars have studied the lives of multiple geniuses. 2 of them are Albert Einstein, and hold your breath, Kim Kardashian. Seriously, I am not kidding. As much as these 2 seem to be light years apart, not only in time, but also in the number of brain cells possessed, an overwhelming number of studies prove it otherwise. In his widely acclaimed book, How Children Succeed, author Paul Tough argues that in the long run, the qualities that will matter more than SAT scores are curiosity, optimism, self-control, and grit, which all fall under conscientiousness, one of the big 5 psychological traits. Psychologist Angela Duckworth of the University of Pennsylvania has studied conscientiousness extensively. According to her study of about 10,000 American adults, conscientiousness is positively associated with the higher levels of career earnings. According to her, self-control and grit are the better predictors of students' academic performance than their measured intelligence. Now, you must be thinking, okay, that explains Einstein, but what about Kim Kardashian? Well, a University of Cambridge study indicates that conscientiousness is the determining factor driving influence on Twitter. Kim Kardashian's SAT score might have been in 3 digits. That is, if she ever took it. But she is meticulous and vigilant. Second factor that plays a major role in lucky people's lives is shallow gazing. 2010 Nobel laureate physicist Andre Geim's career philosophy is to graze shallow. He believes in searching rather than researching. He reads other people's work, but not so much as to read himself right out of his own idea. So, he devotes 10% of his time on crazy, shallow ideas even he thinks probably won't pan out. Surprisingly, they have a 12% success rate, mainly because he thinks he is vigilant. He feels that if you want to become outrageously lucky, never stop being a child. Geim himself conducts such outlandish experiments that in the year 2000, one of his experiments was thought to be an April Fool's prank. When other scientists realized Geim was being serious, he was nominated for and awarded the Ig Nobel. In other words, the worst idea of the year. 10 years later, he had the last laugh when he won the Nobel Prize with one of those crazy ideas, isolating graphene from an ordinary pencil's graphite with the help of a tool his boss did not even provide funding for. Scotch tape. So, what are you waiting for? Forget what your nasty math teacher thinks of you. Buckle down and work on developing your conscientiousness. That is, self-control, grit, and optimism. And yes, try not to be bothered if you find yourself in a situation you cannot control. Situations such as a plane crash, or even worse, your neighbor winning the jackpot. That's a sinking feeling. Even the great American novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "Nothing is as obnoxious as other people's luck." So, to start feeling lucky, first, learn to view luck more rationally. Second, graze shallow before digging deep. Third, value search over research. And finally, develop and savor your lucky charms. Grit, self-control, and optimism. Oh, disclaimer, eating Lucky Charms for breakfast doesn't work. Thank you.